Welcome to Tokyosaurus. To start off the video, I just want to say that the purpose of this video is not to say which one is better. We're comparing an established franchise that is just celebrating its 20th anniversary to a relatively new franchise that is only about a quarter of Pokemon's age. This is just a comparison of the two franchises in terms of their numbers, to give a perspective of where they're both at. Higher numbers does not mean better, as there are tons of games out there that bring big numbers but aren't exactly regarded as good games. You know what those are. All I'm trying to say is, let's not get hasty with branding one as better than the other, because it's not really about that. So with that out of the way, let's take a look at the numbers from the two most popular monster collecting series. Pokemon has sold over 280 million units, including side games, since its inception, while Yokai Watch has sold over 12 million units, including their side games as well. But as the highest grossing gaming franchise in the world, you can put any AAA gaming franchise beside Pokemon and it'll still look minuscule in comparison. So I'm sure you've heard rumors about how Yokai Watch is taking over Japan, and that every kid around the corner is playing it. That may be true, but let's take a look at some of the numbers just to see what's happening. The year that Yokai Watch came out in Japan was 2013, which was also the year Pokemon X and Y revitalized the Pokemon franchise. Yokai Watch 1 sold about 1.3 million copies in Japan, while Pokemon X and Y sold 4.3 million. This was especially impressive for Yokai Watch, as it was an entirely new game at that time, and nobody knew if it was going to stay, but it did. And Level 5 made Yokai Watch 2 just a year later, this time raking in over almost 6 million copies sold. So within 1 year, they were able to convert a Japanese fan base of 1.3 million to 6 million in just that short period of time. That was when the question was raised, is Yokai Watch going to take over Pokemon as the premier monster collecting series? In 2015, a spin-off Yokai Watch game was created called Yokai Watch Busters, and it raked in a smooth 2.3 million copies sold. We can also see that Yokai Watch has a much closer release schedule between each game compared to Pokemon. Pokemon usually has 2 years between each release unless it's a remake, while Yokai Watch seems to be releasing at least one game per year. Pokemon in 2013 released X and Y that sold 4.3 million copies, and Alpha Sapphire and Omega Ruby that sold about 3 million copies. So in total, from 2013 to 2015, Yokai Watch has sold about 9.6 million copies, while Pokemon has sold 7 million copies. So in terms of popularity, the two are pretty neck to neck. But obviously we're in 2016, so how are they faring in Japan now? Yokai Watch 3 was released in the middle of 2016, and it sold about 1.3 million so far, while Pokemon Sun and Moon, which was just released recently, sold 2 million copies already, and is projected to easily double that figure after the holiday season. Yokai Watch 3 Sukiyaki is about to release in less than 2 weeks in Japan, which will give Yokai Watch another boost in sales. Let's not forget though, Pokemon also had the help of Pokemon Go, which was released earlier this year, and it has the highest player base count of any Pokemon game, peaking at 45 million users daily. Obviously, that has come down since then, but it reintroduced millions of people back into the franchise, and many of them probably decided to give Sun and Moon a chance after seeing those nostalgic heavy commercials that were pretty much marketed towards grown-ups. While it's easy to say, oh look at the sales number of the original Pokemon games, it totally kills Yokai Watch. It's not all that simple. It's extremely hard to compare commercial success of Yokai Watch to the days of the original Red and Blue versions of Pokemon. Because back in those days, if you were in the market for games, you had to buy a Game Boy or a console. Total number of Game Boys sold until they were out of production was 118 million, while the current generation 3DS has sold only about 61 million. As Nintendo has the majority of the portable gaming console market today, it's safe to say that the market has effectively shrunk almost in half since 20 years ago. These days, most kids have an Android or an iOS device that lets them download games to their phones, most of the time without even having to pay. Potential player base for Nintendo games these days are much lower, therefore we can't really just look at the numbers and say one is better than the other. Worldwide sales is a different story. Pokemon X and Y sold over 9 million copies between North America and Europe, while Yokai Watch 1 sold about 600,000 copies. Yokai Watch 2 just released internationally, and so the numbers aren't quite in yet. But for a new franchise, 600,000 is no small feat. Pokemon has a way more established presence on the international stage, while Yokai Watch is only starting to gather its audience. There used to be a sentiment on the internet a while ago, not sure if people still feel this way, but fans of Pokemon felt threatened by the existence of this new monster collecting game. But Pokemon faces far bigger threats from smartphones and other platforms right now, and if anything, Yokai Watch's popularity is actually very beneficial for Pokemon's success. The core games in both franchises are played on the same platform, which means that new players who are introduced to the platform will also have access to the other franchise if they decide to buy it. So, the better the platform sells, the bigger the potential audience becomes for both games. Pokemon also benefits from competition because it gets them to try out newer features, and as someone who has played both games, I could see how much influence Yokai Watch had on Pokemon in the new Pokemon Sun and Moon games. The environment in Sun and Moon most notably got an insane upgrade, which took a note from Yokai Watch's elaborate environments. One of my favorite things from Yokai Watch was just the city design and how every building, street corner, room, down to the furniture or decor had a unique feel to it. They were very memorable and the city felt alive because of these details. Nothing feels rehashed. In the older Pokemon games, many buildings were rehashed, rooms looked the same, or just were very plain. They weren't relatable. This time around in Sun and Moon, the environments were impressively detailed, and the environmental variations was improved. Though still not at Yokai Watch's level, I would say that they are going in the right direction. To end off, I think growth for either franchise is beneficial to the other, as playing one doesn't stop you from playing the other. Certainly doesn't stop me. So, what do you think of the Pokemon and Yokai Watch franchises? Let us know in the comments below. Follow Tokyosaurus on Twitter and Facebook for Japanese culture tweets and updates. And for more about the latest things people are talking about in Japan, don't forget to check out our channel and subscribe so you can get your daily fix of Japan right in your inbox. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.